Okay, welcome to the next section. This is actually the fifth part of this is the fifth part of getting all the services installed in Docker. Right, so this is sort of the general idea of what, these are the things I'm going to show you in these slides. Grafana basics, the Docker Compose, different types of dashboards, how to set it up, and some testing. Alright, so this is Grafana. It's three things you need to do. You install Grafana and then create a data source and create a dashboard. In the last section we did InfluxDB, and InfluxDB will be the database, the data source for this Grafana. Okay, so this is Grafana's site, Grafana Labs. You have all kinds of info here. You can look at what products they do. Once again, another great open source project. There's some learning channels, so you can go right from the basics all the way through. Alright, these are the features. So largely it's a way of visualizing data. Graphs, histograms, charts, whatever. And then of course the nice thing about it, you can use alerts. You can actually say if the data goes above a specific value for a certain amount of time, you can get it to send you an email, to send you a telegram, to send you push notifications. Right, so okay, this is the GitHub repository. As I said, it's open source. Grafana.com. There are a number of other projects within Grafana called Prometheus and all kinds of plugins as well. So you can actually start off with the basics and really make some very sophisticated dashboards. Okay, so we really are now, we've done Portainer.io, we've done MQTT, we've done Node-RED, we've done InfluxDB, and this is effectively the last part of this whole framework or stack, so which is Grafana. This is the composed file. Once again, step 5, all the other steps I showed you step by step how to go through all of them. So this is, once again, this is a service called Grafana. This is the container name. It goes and fetches Grafana from Docker Hub. It exposes itself on port 3000. And there's an environmental file where you can put some settings in as well, and once again your volume, so where your logs and your data get stored. Okay, then this is Docker Hub Grafana. You can see 1 billion pools. That just tells you how popular this is. Alright, and then these are some sample dashboards. As you can see, you can have sort of buttons with indications on. You can have histograms, charts, even maps. Okay, here's another dashboard now. You can actually see here there's watts for solar panels. You can do latencies, timings, transfers. People use this to monitor servers. You can use it for getting weather information, just about anything you can think of. Here's another one as well now, example, gauges. This can give you statistics not only of your IoT devices, but you can use it for all kinds of other scenarios and situations. And then this is effectively, like I showed you in the last section, the way that Influx and Grafana work together. And so that's what I will do. I will do a video now where I will show you how to go through, install it, setting up a dashboard that will show the DS18B20 real-time data. Alright, in this video I'm actually going to show you now how to go through the steps of getting Grafana installed into Docker as a service. So once again, you can see we've done the other steps. Now this is now Grafana, which is now the 5th step. So what I'll do is copy this across into the Raspberry Pi. You very much have the same thing, Docker Compose file, setup file with an environmental file. If we go back down here, if we go across to our terminal and we do an ls, you can see now we have now 5 directories. If we change into that directory, do an ls, you can see here's the Docker Compose and the setup file. Alright, what you do is simply now is actually run this usual Docker Compose up. Alright, so there you go, Docker Compose up. What it'll do basically is it'll go and fetch the Grafana once again, pulling it from the Docker Hub, So once again you can see there it is pulling the image down, unpacking it, extracting it, and then it will then run it, and we'll be able to go across into Portainer and see what it looks like. And so this is now inside the Docker container. We now will have Portainer, we will have Mosquito, which is an MQTT database, we will have Node-RED, InfluxDB, and this is Grafana. As you can see, quite a lot of logs and stuff going on here as it boots up. If we go across now into Portainer and we do a refresh, we will see now we have 5 containers. So once again, Portainer, we did Mosquito, MQTT broker, we did Node-RED, we did InfluxDB, and yeah, we have Grafana. You can see Grafana effectively the same panel here. You can see the logs and the inspect, and so this tells you everything's running here. What I didn't mention before is you have all of these buttons on the top, so you actually could start and stop these containers, these individual services, and restart them. So this Portainer is really very powerful. You can do it from the command line, so that's always an option if you have scripts and stuff you want to run automatically, but this gives you a nice graphical view of how it all looks. So if we now go to 165 and we go to 3000, which is Grafana, you'll see what it'll ask you for is the password. The default is admin. What it'll do then, it'll ask you to create your own password. So you can enter in your own password now. Right, and save that, and then we're up and running. In that one slide I showed you, effectively these are the steps that need to be taken. So we've installed Grafana. You now have to add a data source, and then you set up a dashboard. What I'll show you then, if you actually just click on this button now, if you remember from the last section, we installed InfluxDB. We had a database called Sensor Data. So what we'll do is effectively that. You can see there's a number of different data sources. So everything from PostgreSQL, MySQL, really Prometheus, all these different data sources. We're going to use InfluxDB. So what you'd need to do now is you'd have to give it the IP address of that of the InfluxDB. So once again, it's the IP address of the Raspberry Pi. So it's http:// and then we say 192.168.1.165 and port 8086. And then the others you can leave as defaults. The database show we will say sensor data, and then the password is Node-RED. So Node-RED and Node-RED user and password, and then you will see you have a save and test. So you click that, you see it says it's been updated. You get a green tick here to say everything is okay. And if you now go back, you will see now you've done the install, you've created your data source, and so now all you need to do now is create your first dashboard. You obviously can have many different dashboards, but I'll just show you some of the basics. So you have two parts to the dashboard. You have a query part, which now will get the data, and then the visualization. So you go add a query. You do on the drop down box here, you pick InfluxDB. That will be the default because there is only one data source, but if you have many data sources, you'll have to specify. You'll see now what you need to do is select a measurement. So when you drop this down, it'll show you temp logs, which is a measurement that was underneath the sensor data. And then so you can have tags, so you can have where this is that, and it's different areas and different zones. But in our case, we just had the two values, so we had the sensor and the temperature. So we click on the temperature, and straight away there you can actually see this is the historic data. I've left it running for a few days, or since yesterday, so you can see this is all the temperature over the last while, over the last 6 hours. So and that's effectively it as far as now creating the data. You can then change a lot of different how you actually want this displayed. Normally I do here, and I do tell it to connect all these points. In this case there's so many points here, it's already connected them. So you can also put labels, and so the next thing we'll do is change this panel now. So if you go here, you'll see panel title. So we'll change that to DS18B20 history. So history, what the, and then what you want to do is save it. So it will ask you what the dashboard is here. We'll say it is DS18B20. Save it. And there you have your first chart. If you wanted now to install another panel, so you would go again, pick the query, go through the same step. In this case, we'll put a little gauge there. So you pick there, you'll drop the value down here, temperature. But in this case now, when we go here, we can pick here, instead of a graph, we can pick a gauge, and you'll see there's the gauge. You can put the labels on. You can also choose what you want it to be. So for instance, we'll go now temperature, degrees Celsius. You can then say a minimum. So for instance, say -10. You wanted to put it in the freezer or something, and then normally I wouldn't think you'd go above 60 degrees. You would put one decimal place, and then yeah, so once you've done that, then if you want to now have it, so yeah, they've got 80 as the red, so we can maybe make it anything above 50 is red, and then you add another one here, so we can put now anything above say 30 is orange. And then that's it. You can see now we sit in the green. When it gets between 30 and 50, it'll be orange. If you change this, for instance, now to make this now 20, the orange to be 20, say for instance 20 there, now you'll see now it's because it's now in the orange, so anything less than that. So you can actually have many different colors and settings or whatever. So, and once again, here you would want to change the panel title, just to say DS18B20, and yeah, you can actually save that now. And if you go back now to your dashboard, you'll see you've got the two. What you can do now is actually just drag this to the one side like that, and you just grab the corner and you can pull it down so that it's the same size, and there you have it. You have now a chart and you have a gauge. You can change the how long you want to look at the data, so you can do the last 3 hours, you'll see there now you're getting much more detail, and you can go even right down to the last 30 minutes. So if you now go along through these values, you can actually see the values over almost every 10 seconds. There's a value here. There's your time, 10:50 to 11:50. So this effective, it's half an hour. So just before 11 to so that's half an hour over the whole scale. So I think what you can do here is you do this drop down here and you tell it to update automatically over every 30 seconds. What you can do, what some people do, is they feed this to like a tablet, you know what I mean? So you have a full screen view on a tablet. You can mount it on a wall, and then people can monitor this in real time. So this time here every 30 seconds will just update automatically, and the gauge will move along. If you made this now say 5 seconds, then you'll see now every 5 seconds it'll update and move the graph along, you know what I mean? So there you see it's updating, and so it's pretty amazing. Even if we went now to, let's say, to 5 minutes, you'll see now how it will update in 5 seconds. Now it'll show you the latest data. So you see there it's doing the next one and the next one and the next one. See, there it goes. So truly amazing stuff. I mean, if you think of the steps that we've done to go from and your imagination is the limit. You could have multiple temperature sensors, multiple displays, multiple dashboards showing building up historic data.